So I wear a lot of hats in my startup life. Some days I'm deep into coding, some days I'm just designing some UI, writing content, handling socials, trying to figure out if this landing page headline even makes sense. And somewhere in between, I'll spend like 30 minutes just in the void, not doing anything. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, that's decision paralysis. Now, what is decision paralysis exactly? Basically, the more choices we have, the harder it is for us to make a choice between them. It feels like you're doing something, but actually you're spending more time circling around options, unable to move. Your brain gets somewhat overloaded, and instead of choosing and sticking to a path, your brain just freezes. So that's why psychologists call it that. And there's a lot of research behind this, showing how people are actually less likely to buy something if presented with way too many buying options. It's not laziness, it's not a short attention span, it's just information overload. And especially during a time where information is everywhere, it's very normal for these days for people to feel completely overwhelmed and unable to make such decisions. For me, it shows up like this. I open up my laptop with a few things in my mind which I should do. Do I start on a new feature? Do I work on improvements? Do I design some sort of new UI? And then every single task comes with its own micro decision. What color should this button be? What does the CTA look like? How is that worded? Should I mock this on Figma first, or should I just build it and see what it looks like? And sometimes it even shows up when I'm trying to post on social media. I'll be like, do I post a meme? Do I post a tip? Do I post a reel or a personal story? And just like that, boom, 40 minutes gone, nothing posted. There's a term called paradox of choice, and it's coined by a psychologist named Barry Schwartz. He explains that having way too many options makes us actually feel more anxious, and we end up fearing making the wrong decision. And this fear is what locks us into place. It's like, well, if I want to work something, I might have to end up spending hours on this thing. And if it turns out to be less resourceful in my mind, if I feel like if I spend hours on this and I'm not productive, then at the end I'd feel like, this is a waste of time. I could have done something else. And that example is quite good for me because I'm very artifact driven. If I don't feel like I've produced some sort of document or post or some sort of content that I've drafted or some feature that I've coded to completion, then I just don't feel like I have had a productive time. So I'll get this natural feeling of FOMO, which then spirals into that feeling of, I could have done something else which would have made me feel like I've done twice as much in half that time. So how am I handling right now? So I've started doing some small things that help with deciding the priority of things that I do things in, like planning what I should do the night before so that on the following day, I don't need to decide on the spot what exactly I need to do. So with that, I would incorporate themes, like for example, the next day I am just going to do coding or I'm just going to do marketing, which will help me limit choices. I feel like time blocking is something that people often recommend as well, but personally, I don't feel like it works for me. It's when you break up your day with particular periods that I'm going to block out this period to do this, I'm going to block out this period to do that. I tried this tactic when I was working full-time in my previous job. I wouldn't find myself following these blocks to the T, so I would end up just spending way more time on one thing than I would have wanted to. So at the end of the day, I didn't really feel like I was getting any value from that. When it comes to creating content for social media, I find having those spontaneous thoughts really, really good, where all of a sudden, like, something comes to my mind and I just write it down in some raw notes format. That would then be used to make fully fleshed content that I can use for Reels or YouTube. So in that way, I don't spend a dedicated session trying to brainstorm ideas on what I could do for Reels or YouTube. Rather, things that just come to my head or all of a sudden from like a walk or even going to the toilet, having a shower, these sorts of thoughts, they just spontaneously arrive into your head. And of course, there's the regular project management tools out there like Trello and Notion and Jira. They're all quite good. I use them. Personally, I use Trello for my coding project management. So if you're out there like me, juggling roles and just feeling like you're just sometimes bumping your head against the wall. It's not just you. It's simply because your brain is overwhelmed. And once you notice it, you can start to work with it, little by little, one decision at a time. So that's how I combat procrastination and decision paralysis. I'd love to hear tips from you guys on how you also combat procrastination, and I'm open to also incorporate it into my own daily routine. I'm Elvin Speaks. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.